This is Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. This is an attempt to get something authentic, something fresh on my YouTube channel related to Uber. I've got some followers independent of my blogging activity. And I've been producing these videos that have screenshots and that. So this is a middle-aged man, a little bit drunk. I drank a Foster's after I delivered tonight, and this is something I do every night. For some reason, my speech is a little bit slurred. I'm a little bit drunk. I'm on the steps of my apartment. My wife is working. I did enough Uber that I'm not going to do any more. And it was a lot of work for a little bit of money. So at the moment, here are my thoughts. There are disastrous patterns that happen that send people into drug addiction, alcoholism, and other negative self-destructive behaviors. And for priests, I've understood this pattern. This is Catholic priests. There's a service on Sunday. They're the MC. And then sort of like the service is over and everyone goes home to their family and the priest has nothing to do. Now, I became aware of this syndrome many years ago, a decade ago, and these were circumstances that were part of the job where all of a sudden, wow, I got time on my hands. Rock stars have a pattern. Janis Joplin exemplifies what I'm trying to communicate here. She was from Texas. I think sort of a small town girl, or certainly a simple life, simple family life. Suddenly she becomes a rock star beyond imagination. And she's popular. She starts doing drugs. And from the drugs to the crowd to the songwriting to everyone wanting to be a part of her, all of a sudden she's got some problems. So I'm experiencing a little bit of that myself tonight, where the week is over. My wife is working. Now, she's not even working late. She's working till 6. I did Uber in the afternoon, and she'll be home. I'm expecting her any minute. So my point is this. It's like walking up to the edge of the cliff. I feel like I'm there at this moment because I did Uber this afternoon and I made $20. I worked my ass off for $20. And I plan to post a video later to show the number of deliveries I did and the amount of work. So local people, that we have something called the Palisade, and I live on top of the Palisade. So when you go down to the river level, Hudson River, it's 150 feet vertical. It's a significant climb. Some of these hills are not famous, but there is much altitude change and as steep as the famous hills of San Francisco. So I did those like 5 times and on one delivery to bring like French fries and a chicken McNuggets to someone on the Palisades. I actually dropped down to the river level from on top of the Palisade, got my chicken McNuggets and French fries, and then climbed back up the Palisade just to deliver chicken McNuggets and French fries and made $3. It's, the Uber, and I'll show later the amount of money I make on Uber will show delivery by delivery, whether or not you make Boost. Well, Boost sort of makes it, you know, like, this isn't embarrassing that I did this much work for this little money. Boost is what makes it kind of cool. But without Boost, I feel like there should be a flag that shows up and says, you know, like, Boost. Like, when you see the amount of money you make on each delivery, when there's no Boost, it doesn't say Boost 0. It says, it just skips Boost. But when there's Boost, it shows the Boost. Now, of course, Uber is going to do this. They don't want to remind you that you suck. But that's exactly what it feels like. To work that hard for $3 is embarrassing. And but like I say, I have time on my hands. Now, I did have a ping from an Indian friend who is working on some tech support, and so I kind of have some productive extended into Friday evening hours, work at home office kind of tech support marketing that I'm doing. So that's kind of cool to offset this. But to tie back to the beginning of this idea with and the priests that all of a sudden have time on their hands and they end up overeating, they end up over drinking, they end up with a significant amount of problems themselves. I mean, these priests have a really tough job. They go into hospitals. They really immerse themselves in the tragedies of life. And Sunday's a particularly hard day for them. And then I also talked about Janis Joplin, this idea of, you know, all of a sudden the crowds are gone, and the hunger for a crowd. You know, circumstances in people's lives make them hungry for something. And then suddenly I just drank a Foster's, what in childhood I used to call these oil cans. And that wouldn't make sense today because oil cans haven't looked like that for 4 decades. But anyways, it's not a lot of beer, and Foster's is weak beer, which is why I drank it, because I was very thirsty going up and down the Palisades. Summary. There is no summary. I tried to get something online that's fresh, that's authentic. And these are my thoughts, a little bit of drunkenness, a touch of slurred speech. And this has been Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, a restful night's sleep. Hola. Ciao.